John Carter, The Crimson Reign. A sequel adventure in the spirit of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Prologue. The Restless Prince of Helium. It had been 10 years since John Carter of Virginia, warlord of Mars, had wed the incomparable Dejah Thoris and brought stability to the twin cities of Helium. Peace had stretched across Barsoom like a rare green dawn, and for a time it seemed that the Red Planet had finally been tamed of its endless wars. But John Carter was never a man built for idleness. Though his love for Dejah Thoris remained as fierce as on the day he first beheld her in chains of Zodanga, his heart yearned for the clang of swords, the thunder of thoat-hooves, and the challenge of unknown horizons. And the unknown was coming for him, sooner than he could have imagined. Chapter 1. The Red Comet. It began with a light in the sky. From the high observatory tower of Greater Helium, John Carter stood with Kantos Khan, his most trusted friend and admiral of the Heliumite Navy. Together they gazed at the heavens where a crimson comet burned, brighter than any moon of Barsoom. "It has not moved from its course for 6 nights, said Kantos Khan. "The sages whisper it is no comet at all, but a ship of the gods." Carter narrowed his eyes. "Gods? I've had my fill of false gods on this world. No, Kantos Khan, that is no divine omen. It is a vessel, or worse, a weapon." Dejah Thoris herself joined them, her regal presence commanding the chamber. "The astronomers claim its trajectory will bring it near Helium. If it is a ship, it seeks us." As if in answer, the crimson light flared and split the night with a streak of fire. The comet, if comet it was, plunged earthward beyond the southern deserts. A tremor rolled through the city as the impact shook the distant sands. John Carter's blood quickened. Adventure had returned to Barsoom. Chapter 2. The Descent into Ruin. Within 2 days, Carter rode at the head of a swift column of warriors. Green men of Thark marched beside the red men of Helium, for Tars Tarkas would not be left behind when peril threatened. They found the crater in the Dead Sea bottom of Corvus. The air was thick with a metallic tang, and at its center lay a vast craft of burnished scarlet metal, half buried in smoking earth. It was like no ship Carter had seen, sleek as a sword blade, its hull carved with runes that shifted like fire. From the wreck emerged beings clad in armor of living crimson. Their faces were concealed behind masks wrought like snarling beasts. In their hands were weapons that spat searing bolts of light. The first Heliumite soldier who approached was incinerated in a flash. "By my sword," growled John Carter, drawing the blade that had slain 1,000 foes, "they bring us war." Chapter 3. The Crimson Legion. The strangers called themselves the Crimson Legion, servants of a queen named Zyra the Radiant, ruler of the Crimson Reign, a hidden dominion said to dwell beyond the horizon of Barsoom itself, beneath the crust of the dying planet. Their leader, a towering warrior whose mask bore horns like a great banth, declared, "We claim this land in the name of Zyra, rightful empress of all Barsoom. Kneel, or be consumed." Naturally, John Carter did not kneel. The battle that followed was unlike any Carter had fought before. The weapons of Helium clashed with the alien fire of the Crimson Legion. Thoats screamed, men fell, and even the mighty green warriors staggered under the unnatural power of the enemy's arms. Yet Carter, with the fury of Earth-born strength and Virginia-born courage, cut his way through a score of foes. At his side, Tars Tarkas wielded his long sword like a storm of death. Still, the Legion was unyielding. Only the sudden collapse of their vessel's reactor, some infernal machine of energy, forced them to retreat into the earth itself, vanishing into a fissure revealed by the explosion. Carter, panting but unbowed, stared into that abyss. He knew where fate demanded he go. Chapter 4. Journey Beneath Barsoom. The fissure led to caverns lit by their own inner glow, veins of molten rock pulsing like the lifeblood of the world. The Heliumite host could not follow en masse, so Carter descended with a chosen few, Kantos Khan, Tars Tarkas, and a dozen stalwarts. Days they marched, deeper than any map of Barsoom recorded. The air grew hotter, the stone stranger. They encountered creatures of nightmare, blind, chitinous predators that struck from the walls, rivers of liquid flame, and caverns where gravity itself twisted, making men stumble as if drunk. At last, they beheld a vast hidden world beneath the planet's crust, a sunless expanse lit by crimson crystals, forests of metal trees, and cities carved into colossal stalagmites. This was the domain of the Crimson Reign. And at its heart, upon a throne of living fire, sat Zyra the Radiant. Chapter 5. Zyra the Radiant. Zyra was unlike any woman of Barsoom, or of Earth. Tall and terrible, she glowed with the same crimson fire that lit her realm. Her eyes blazed like twin suns, her hair floated as if in unseen currents, and her beauty was both exquisite and terrifying. "You are John Carter," she said, her voice resonant with power. "The warlord who slew false gods, who commands the loyalty of green and red alike. You will kneel to me, and I will make you king beside my throne." Carter met her gaze without fear. "I already have a queen, and I kneel to none but her." Zyra smiled, as one might smile at a child. "Then you will learn that fire does not ask if stone will burn, it simply consumes." From that moment, Carter knew, Zyra was more than a conqueror. She was a force, a will that sought dominion over all Barsoom, and she would not rest until the surface world bowed. Chapter 6. Chains of Fire. Carter and his companions were seized, their weapons melted by crimson energy. In chains of burning metal, they were cast into the dungeons of Zyra's palace. Here Carter learned the truth. The Crimson Rain had long been a hidden civilization, born when Barsoom's seas dried. They had retreated underground, harnessing the planet's molten heart. While the surface world warred endlessly, the rain had grown strong, waiting for the day to reclaim what they believed was rightfully theirs. And now, with Barsoom weakened by centuries of strife, Zyra had chosen to strike. But Carter was no stranger to captivity. He inspired his companions, forged alliances with other prisoners, including a disgraced Crimson general named Varlock, and planned escape. Chapter 7. Escape and Betrayal. The break came during the Festival of Embers, when the Crimson Legion feasted. Carter and his band overpowered their guards, seized weapons, and fought their way through blazing halls. Yet betrayal awaited. Varlock, whom Carter had trusted, revealed his true allegiance. He sought not freedom, but Zyra's favor. With a signal, he brought a legion down upon Carter's band. Amid the chaos, Kantos Khan was wounded, Tars Tarkas captured, and Carter himself forced to flee into the wild subterranean wastes. For the first time in years, John Carter fought alone. Chapter 8. The Outcast Tribes. In the Crimson Wilderness, Carter discovered outcast tribes, descendants of those who had rebelled against Zyra ages ago. Pale-skinned, half-feral, yet proud, they had survived on the edges of the Rain's domain. Carter, ever the leader, won their respect by slaying a beast that had terrorized them, a serpent of living fire, longer than a warship. With the tribes at his side, he forged an army in exile. He taught them the discipline of Helium, the courage of Thark, and the strategy of Earth. Slowly, hope returned to the dark. Chapter 9. War Beneath the World. The war was fierce and unending. Carter's rebel host struck at Zyra's supply lines, freed prisoners, and shattered her outposts. The Crimson Rain answered with overwhelming might, their legions burning all before them. Carter fought battle after battle, his blade forever crimson with the blood of foes. He rescued Tars Tarkas from a burning pyre, rallied Kantos Khan's survivors, and spread word of defiance across the subterranean realm. Yet Zyra herself remained untouchable, her power absolute. Carter knew the truth. To end this war, he must face her alone. Chapter 10. Duel with the Radiant Queen. At last, the final confrontation came. Carter stormed Zyra's throne with his allies, carving through her guards like a tempest. Before the throne of living fire, he met Zyra in single combat. She wielded a blade of pure energy, striking faster than lightning. Carter's earth-born muscles, honed by years of war, met her blows with unyielding steel. Sparks lit the Crimson Hall as their duel shook the palace itself. "Why do you resist?" she cried. "Together we could rule a world." "Because I fight not for power," Carter roared, "but for freedom, and for the woman I love." With a final stroke, he shattered her blade and cast her into the flames of her own throne. The palace erupted, fire consuming the Crimson Rain. Epilogue. Return to the surface. Carter led his companions and allies back to the surface as the underground realm collapsed behind them. The Crimson Rain was ended, their queen destroyed, their legions scattered. When he returned to Helium, Deja Thoris was waiting. She had feared for him, yet never doubted he would prevail. "Barsoom is safe again," she whispered. "For now," Carter said, holding her close. "But so long as I live, no power in this world, or any other, shall conquer the free peoples of Barsoom." And though peace returned, the stars above still burned with unknown lights, promising that the adventures of John Carter were far from over.